Hi there. In the past, I've made videos about multi-loader modding, going over creating new game objects and using different APIs, and another video going over architecture, bookshelf, registration utils, and a Botania-like setup. In this video, I want to talk about Modstitch, which is a Gradle plugin to unify official tooling for both Fabric and Neoforge using Stonecutter. So what is Stonecutter? Stonecutter is a modern Gradle plugin for multi-version development. So when we're making mods, we have this concept of multi-loader. So that's the art of getting your mod to work on Fabric, Forge, Neoforge, Quilt, Risugami, on multiple mod loaders while working from a common source set. Multi-version, on the other hand, is getting your Minecraft mod working on multiple versions of Minecraft, from 1.16 to modern versions like 1.18 through 26 being the latest version of Minecraft. So I have the Modstitch documentation open, we have examples, and we have a template to work from. We're going to get into setting up a Modstitch project, and I've already created a repo from the template. So at the beginning of this setting up page, it recommends checking out Stonecutter's commenting syntax. So that leads to a 404 page. So I'll have this linked in the description. This is the Codeberg repository. This is the comment syntax that we're looking at though. We see a link for a documentation website, and on the left we see version comments again. And here's a pretty good example of what we're going to be looking at. We have this syntax of checking the Minecraft version here. So if we're on 1.20.1, we do this logic. If we do 1.21.1, we do this logic. If we do 1.21.4, this logic happens. So while I have this project setting up, let's go back to this diagram. Multi-loader modding is solved by using things like multi-loader template or architecture. Multi-version modding is solved with using tools like Stonecutter, and we get the best of both worlds with a tool like Modstitch. Let's continue with the setup. Important things to note: always use reset active project task with Stonecutter before committing to your source control system. And this is a funny note. It says don't forget to change this line, but it doesn't tell you what to change it to. So I'll show you I changed it to match the folder name of my project. Let's go to our build.gradle file to find these values, and these are the values we'll want to change as we refactor our project. Here we can see a pack format. We'll need to update this as well, which is pretty easy to find on the wiki. Oh, it's full of errors. We're getting so many errors. The Fabric stuff is not loading. Why? So now our first order of business is to fix the template, and then we'll modify the versions afterwards. Well, this is Forge failing, and I don't feel like doing Forge anyway, so we're just going to remove that and go ahead and update the project, because it's saying file not found exception for example mod ref map JSON mappings surge. This does not specify a ref map, so I'm not sure if that might be the issue. So checking this out, for some reason we're using 1.20.1 Forge and then 1.21.4 Fabric and Neoforge. So we're going to change some of this stuff around. So I actually want to do 1.21.1 Neoforge as the main version. So that means I'll have to rename these. I'm going to rename directory. All right, copy that as 21.1228. Going to do 1.21.1, taking out Forge. Just going to delete Forge here. And then under source, under loaders, I'm going to remove Forge here. Resources, templates, meta-m. I'm going to remove mods.toml. Let's try to reload. So we actually just inadvertently followed this. Removing targets is simple. Just remove it from settings.gradle and then delete the respective folder in versions. All right, our project did sync this time. Forge was removed. Let's try to build again. And you see we're still targeting 1.21.4 Fabric. Cannot find mod initializer. Oh, and that's funny because we changed our active version. Okay, so you remember just a moment ago, I changed active version to 1.21.1 Neoforge. So now our Fabric entry point is failing, and all of this is, or it might be because all of this is commented out. So that's strange, right? Why would that fail if we see that it's working here? Now, I obviously don't want to have to recomment everything out every time I'm switching. So am I missing something? So maybe I shouldn't be swapping those manually. We see refresh, reset active project. All right, so let me do reset. Sets active version to 1.21.1 Neoforge. Run this before making a commit. So let me try this. Let's just, so we see that, yes, that updated automatically. So that's good, okay. Kind of what I was expecting, I just wasn't sure. And we see all of this is commented out now. So now that our active version is 1.21.1 Neoforge, we see all of this is working as expected. So, okay, cool. Let me try. So let's try build again. Okay, build successful. So typically we have outputs under build libs. So what am I looking for here? Here we see under versions, we see build and then libs. We see our example mod jar. We're going to use a launcher, multi-MC, so that we can launch. Going to add an instance, targeting 1.21.1. Going to click on edit instance over here. Going to install Neoforge. Going to use the latest version. We can go to the instance folder and then create a folder called mods. Going to copy my example mod jar from my 1.21.neoforge versions folder. I'll put that inside the mods folder. folder, and we can launch. I got signed in, I'm selecting my account, reloaded into the game, go to continue, turn on the music, go to mods, and we don't see our mods. Open the mods folder. Oh, we put it in the wrong folder. Okay, no worries. So let's go back here, grab that out, go to .minecraft, go to mods, put that in there, and launch again. We're in the game, now we see 3 mods, and our example mod is loaded. So in the big picture right now, under versions, we're only targeting 2 different versions of Minecraft under 2 different mod loaders. Each of these is a different mod loader. So we got to step it up. We need to target the latest version of Minecraft in Neoforge as well, and then 1.21.1 Fabric and the latest version of Fabric as well. Let's go back to setup, and we're going to set up more targets. So we need to map the Minecraft version to the loaders that we want to target on that Minecraft version. Then we need to create the Gradle.properties for each target in their respective folder. Now there's a caveat. For Modstitch Loom, we see this Modstitch mod implementation, and this is using a specific version of the Fabric API. So we'll need to modify this slightly. First, I want to commit my current changes. So let's reset active project and then do chiseled build. So reset active project, and under project, we see chiseled build here. We got build successful. So let's commit our changes, change targets. So now if we make a mistake, we can roll back. If we go back to the documentation for Stonecutter, we find links for different approaches here. One of them is Modstitch. I'm looking at Murder Spagurter's template, and we see this dependencies Fabric API set up here. So for the moment, I'm going to copy this specific line. I'm going to add this. I'm going to go to Fabric Develop, go to 1.21.1, and copy this Fabric API version, put this here. We see the separation. They have a separate build scripts for build.fabric, build.neoforge. For the dependencies, this is the block we're looking for. We're using this property dependencies Fabric API here. Place this and get rid of the backslashes that got automatically inserted. So when we're using Loom, which is the Gradle plugin for Fabric, we use Modstitch mod implementation. So we're using the Fabric API and getting the version via the property that is set. I'm just double checking the values I've changed since we're targeting 1.21.1, and then for now I'll take out the 26.1.2 lines until we finish this setup. We also have the pack.mc meta version and the different Java versions to target. Let's reload the project as is now. All right, we synced successfully. Let's try to build again. Gonna make sure I do reset and then chiseled build. We see we're targeting 1.21.1 here for Neoforge and later for Fabric as well. Build successful, that's good. And our normal build task is fine as well. So under 1.21.1 Fabric, we have libs and our example mod jar here. Back in multi-MC, I'm installing 1.21.1, edit instance, and install Fabric. Installing the Fabric loader, latest version. Open the instance folder, go to .minecraft, and go to mods. We need to make sure we have Fabric API. Downloading that, we'll grab our example mod jar and throw that in here as well. Then we can launch. So what I don't have is a mod like mod menu to give me a menu of what mods are installed, but we do have logs, and I just got a crash here. Our inject annotation failed. No ref map loaded. Ref map, I did add the ref map here. Maybe I shouldn't have. If we open up the jar file of the compiled jar, we do see example mod -ref map here. So I would assume that we are actually ref mapping properly, and I just didn't need to add it. So let's copy this file, replace the old one, and relaunch our Fabric instance. Kitty cat cannot execute entry point main due to errors provided by example mod at com example my mod Fabric entry point. Okay, that's not the location. The template has an error. It's not pointing to the right file. So let's do loaders.fabric, and it's not detecting it properly because it's technically commented out because Fabric is not our active version right now. So this is totally fine. We just want to make sure that this is pointing to the right location. Let's grab our example mod jar again and update the old file and launch again. We still have our log window, so we can see this here. And we see our example mod 1.0.0 is loaded. And now we're fully in the game without any errors. We see this log here, hello from Fabric Loader on Minecraft. Well, this is coming from our title screen mixin. Let me close all of this so we're not so cluttered. And if we're on Fabric, we see loaders being replaced. Minecraft is replaced for those Minecraft versions, but we're not targeting those Minecraft versions. Make sure you have this plugin installed, Stonecutter Dev, so you get this proper syntax highlighting here. This is very important for the rest of this project. Now let's set up our project to target 26.1.2, Fabric, and Neoforge. I'm going to uncomment the lines that I had earlier. So again, that's for our target configuration, our pack MC meta configuration, the Java version that we're targeting, and we already have these values set up as well. So now we need to create new folders, 26.1.2 Fabric and 26.1.2 Neoforge. I'm going to copy the Gradle.properties files. Then for Fabric, I'm changing this to 26.1.2, and same here, 26.1.2. Back to Fabric MC Develop, I'm copying the API version. I'm going to put that here. And then Neoforge, copying this version, 26.1.2 43 beta. I'll put this here. So we're now targeting another version of Minecraft across 2 different mod loaders. So we do have Fabric and Neoforge, but we're not targeting these Minecraft versions. We're targeting 1.21.1 and 26.1.2. 26.1.2. Going to reload the project as is. We just got this error. Minecraft 26.1.2 requires Java 25, but Gradle is using 21. Could we possibly revert to using 21 instead? No, because that version of Minecraft itself requires Java 25. So hopefully you don't have the same issue as me. You should probably see View, Tool Windows, go to Gradle. This pops up, you go to Gradle settings, and you should see an option to change your Java home here. Mine's messed up for some reason, so I'm actually manually changing compiler.xml to target 25 here and gradle.xml to target Tamirin 25, which I have installed as a JDK. And then I am able to see that if I go to project settings, I do have Tamirin 25 here. So now I'm getting the issue that our Gradle version is too old. So minimum compatible Gradle version is 9.1.0. So we're going to go to that. Under Gradle properties, for our Gradle wrapper properties, we're going to go here, change this 8.12 to 9.1.0. Bit of a strange error. Type argument not within bounds, must be subtype of any. So I have not experienced this before. I know we are replacing values here. I only know a little bit of Kotlin. Let's try that. Getting unsupported class file for trying to compile Fabric. What I'm trying now is the unstable updated branch for Modstitch. I believe the issue was that we did not have support for Java 25 in the old version. So I am getting this directly from the GitHub, and this just gave me the error that this shorthand is deprecated. I guess that part did work. Maybe. Can't even tell. Now we're getting unresolved reference register chiseled in our stonecutter file. I'm taking some of these fixes from yet another config lib. We are constantly getting unsupported class file version exceptions. Okay, take 40, take 30, 40, I don't even know anymore. Oh, that failed too. Modstitch platform loom. Oh, okay. So this should just be fabric-loom. Okay. All right, we have errors for unresolved constant vanilla in our mixin file. Oh, if not vanilla. Okay, that's weird. Why is this wrapped? Whatever. Anyways, we're never going to be on vanilla because we're making a mod. I just got an error for Java memory allocation, so I'm going to up this to 6 Gs. We're going to get there eventually. I am determined. We are finally at build successful, so I'm going to go over some of the changes that I've made to get us to a working project with 1.21.1 and 26.1.2. So we started from the Modstitch stonecutter template. Xander also released yet another config lib, which uses Modstitch. So we're using that as like our base example of something that's already working. And you can see they have support for versions 1.21.1 and 26.1 and 26.2. In stonecutter.gradle, I took this part out. In settings.gradle, I played around a lot here. Main part is that we're using the latest version of Stonecutter. We had to change this around. I had to increase the amount of RAM so that we could decompile properly. In our build.gradle, I had to update this constant. We removed some stuff from this Modstitch block, changed our fabric loader version to 0.19.2, took out some of this logic, and I moved this, but I don't believe you actually need to move this. It should work just fine. And then in our Gradle properties, we need to make sure we're using fabric loom remap for versions before 26, and anything after that we're using regular fabric loom. And then in title screen, this was wrapped with a check for if not vanilla. We're not targeting vanilla, so we don't need to worry about that so much. So I'm going to commit these changes, but right before I do, I'm going to reset active project. So I think we could just not use that. So maybe we don't need chiseled build. So I'm going to collapse all of this and do a regular build. Now we have build files under here. So I'm going to do Neoforge build libs and copy this. I have that file in my mods folder for my 26.1.2 instance now, which has Neoforge installed. We see the file has been compiled by a more recent version of Java runtime, and we only recognize up to 65. Oh wait, hold on. We're launching 26.1.2. Why are we using 21? This is an issue with multi-MC actually. And can we do edit instance? Let's change the Java installation. We need 25. We see our mod, example mod is loaded there. And up at the top, we are using JDK 25. Cool. Go to mods and we see our example mod here. I think we're finally ready to actually start developing. Let's go ahead and commit our changes. I showed you earlier how we can switch between the active projects. So I've done some basic setup here to register a single item. We have a magic stick, which is a basic item with simple properties. So in our mod entry points, we have bind methods, which bind those game objects to the registry that they belong to. And if I set the active project to 1.21.1 Neoforge, we should see there's no errors here. This registration logic is mimicking the mod Botania. So if you want to go check out their source code, feel free to do that. I'm just using this as a base example so I don't have any extra dependencies or anything like that. So we have the active project as 1.21.1 NeoForge. So if I go to, we can go under NeoForge, mod development, run client, and I'll show you I have a basic item translation here and a simple item model, which just points to Minecraft's stick. We see our mod is loaded. So we'll go and create a new world, creative, peaceful, super flat, give @p example mod magic stick, and we get a stick. So this is cool. Oh, I put items here. That's why. So item example mod. So that's nice. That's all good. Now, what if we go to NeoForge on the latest version of Minecraft? Now we come back and we get errors because resource location doesn't exist anymore. And this could happen with any of Minecraft's classes. Now, lucky for us, we do have a one-to-one comparison for this, so we don't have to do anything too crazy. But we do need to replace that entire thing. We can go here, we can check out yet another config lib or another mod that's doing this. I'm gonna check this out because it's using the latest version, I believe, of Stonecutter, but under Stonecutter, we can do replacements, and we see string replace resource location with identifier. So the reason this works mainly is because resource location is a very specific name. If it was something shorter that was used more common, like if the name was just util, well, you see that we're doing this instead and giving it the full path. So I'm going to copy this replacements block. We'll go to our build.gradle, and under here, I'll paste that in. So anything past 1.21.11, we should get identifier instead of resource location, and we should get the proper util package as well if we ever do need to use that. So we don't see any changes right away because we were already in this active version of 26.1.2. So let me try reset active project. So that reset us back to 1.21.1 NeoForge actually. So let's try to switch to 26.1.2 NeoForge now. And we just saw that update from resource location to identifier. So after this finishes reloading, we can see this is updated and properly using identifier. So now we have one more issue to address, and that's how items are actually registered. If we try to go down to one of these modern versions and do run client, it's going to say that we haven't set a resource key for our item. And you can see example mod encountered an error, item ID not set. So we can look at this versioning here for if we're on 1.21.1 or if we're on 26.1.2. So what I can do is break this apart to where it's multi-line here. And then on this line right after it, going to have some logic. This line is going to be blank if we're on 1.21.1. This is going to be dot set ID, create, and the same exact identifier right there. So this should be fine if we try to run client again. Oh, this is hilarious. We're getting the pack.mc meta file that is generated is broken. Pack format 14. So I guess they're just using the lowest version possible, basically. So we could just try that out and see if that works. Let me just do 14 here. All right, so now we're fully loaded in NeoForge 26.1.2. We see 3 mods. So our mod is loaded. /give @p example mod magic stick. Now we have another issue. Later versions of Minecraft need an items file. So we can create this, but at this point we know that it's going to exist even in our 1.21.1 version. Now it's not going to cause any issues, but this might have you thinking of, well, what if I have a ton of asset files and some of those have formats that have changed between different Minecraft versions? Way down in the Stonecutter configuration, we have file relocation under JSON file conversion. Now, I could be overlooking something, but this is probably what we want to do for files that change significantly, or for asset files that change significantly. There's a ton to touch on here. There's so much more to actually read up on. There's resource processing, interface injection, multi-loader mods in general, which links back to Modstitch. All of this is great to read. Definitely go over that. This didn't work though. Why does this not work? Missing item model for location, example mod, magic stick. So what did I do here? It's stick. Oh, magic stick. So I'm gonna do Control F9 to rebuild the project as it's already running. That just finished. We go back, we do F3 and T. And we see our stick, as we should. So that is all well and good. So this is the basics. You've seen how to use these special comments to add certain code that should or shouldn't execute depending on certain conditions. You can change it for the loader that you're working on or the Minecraft version that you're working on. You can switch the active projects with the different Gradle tasks here. So we have support for 1.21 on 2 different mod loaders and 26.1.2 on 2 different mod loaders. And like I said, you should definitely go back and read all the documentation available. Now, there is a note that there is not much documentation for Modstitch at all. but I do love it. Pretty cool. I might use it in the future. It does feel a bit complicated to actually get set up, and the template is outdated. And like I said here, the online and in-code documentation is lacking. So we were able to get it working eventually by referencing a mod from the same author, but I don't think that's great. I don't think that's good at all. Stonecutter, on the other hand, has tons of documentation, and with Modstitch just being a wrapper around that, I guess they feel they don't need to do so much. But this has been the basis for multi-version and multi-loader modding, so thank you for watching, and stay tuned.